Good morning, students. Today we will continue our lecture on P block. In the last class, we have discussed some properties and preparations of group number 17 elements, that is halogens. Okay, in this class, we will finish the group number 17 elements by finishing the topic name interhalogen compound. Okay, this is lecture number 6 of P block presented by me, Pranit Ghatak, your chemistry teacher. Okay, so let's begin. Interhalogen compound. Interhalogen compound is a molecule which contains two or more different halogens atom. Two or more different halogen atom. Like what are the halogens? Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and astatine. Okay, no atoms of element from any other group. Okay, so interhalogen compounds are those molecules or those compounds who have only two or more halogen atoms, not any atoms beyond the halogens. Okay, so interhalogen compound are the molecule which contains only two or more halogen compounds, only two and more halogen compounds. Most interhalogen compounds are of binary nature, that is they are composed of only two elements. Okay, suppose in the case of ICl, where there are iodine and chlorine, the two elements are present, two halogen compounds are present, so it is called as binary compound. Okay, so most of the interhalogen compounds are called binary compounds. So interhalogen compounds are what? Interhalogen compounds are those compounds who have only contained two halogen atoms, not beyond the halogens compound. Okay, so only they contain only the halogen compound, not beyond the halogen compound. Okay, so they are called the interhalogen compound, and interhalogen compounds are mostly of binary composition, that is they only consist of two halogen compounds. Okay, so interhalogen compounds are of four types, that is XY, XY3, XY5, and XY7. Okay, so interhalogen compounds are that of four types depending on the number of the atoms in a particle. Okay, so depending on the number of atoms in a particle, the interhalogen compounds are of four types, namely XY, XY3, XY5, and XY7. Okay, X atom is the central atom, X atom is the central atom. Okay, and Y atom is the substituent. Y atom is a substituent or ligand. X atom is a central atom, is called the central atom, and Y atom is called the substituent or ligand. Okay, so here the X, how we know the X, which one is the X atom, that is which one is a central atom. Okay, suppose in case of ICl, which one will be the central atom? Here in case of ICl, the central atom will be I, because remember the X, the central atom should be bigger in size, or it has a less electronegativity. Here in case of iodine has 5s5p, so iodine, and chlorine is 3s3p, so iodine will be iodine size is bigger, and iodine has 2.7 or 2.8 electronegativity, whereas chlorine has 3.3. so here, that is why iodine will have less electronegativity, that is why iodine as well as bigger, and it is having a less electronegativity, so iodine will be acting as a central atom. So here the X will be iodine, here the X will be iodine. Okay, so how we can choose the central atom? The central atom should be having less electronegativity, and it is having the higher size or bigger size. Okay, so in this chart I have given in this chart, and in this chart you can see that which compound will form XY and which compound will form XY3 compounds, and which are the example of XY5 and XY7 compounds. So in this chart I have given you some examples of XY, XY3, XY5, and XY7 compounds, interhalogen compounds example. Okay, remember only in case of XY7, only IF7 is an example of XY7 type of interhalogen compound. Only in case of IF7 is the only example of the type of XY7 interhalogen compounds. Okay, so that is the, and one more thing here, if all are the type of x dash n, where n is an odd number and x is always the lighter halogen. Okay, and x is the always the lighter halogen. Okay, so it is not more than important, because I want to remember one thing, that here all the substituent number of substituents 3, 5, 7, and here y is equal to 1. So all of the substituents number, that is the number of y, the number of y un, here n should be an odd number. Here n should be an odd number. That is, in case of y, x, y1, x, y3, x, y5 and x, y7, that is 1, 3, 5, 7, all of them are odd number. So you can remember that as well. But here it is most important that you should remember the example of each of the type of interhalogen compounds. That is, if you ask to write an example of XY type of interhalogen compound, then you have to call ICl or IBr or CF etc. Okay, if you ask to write the example of XY5, then you have to write IF5, BRF5 or CLF5. Okay, so in that way you have to remember all the examples. Okay, here I have given you some of the properties of the interhalogen compounds as well. Okay, so here you can see all the properties of the interhalogen compounds and the bonding as well. Here the stereochemistry, I will be discussing the stereochemistry as well. Okay, so that's it. Okay, you can check on that. You will be having a slight idea about what are they and what are the properties of they have, what are the properties they have. Okay, so properties of interhalogen compounds, what we can find, the interhalogen compounds are in vapor, solid or fluid state. They can be anything, that is, it can be solid, liquid or gas. Okay, a lot of these compounds are unstable solids or fluids. Okay, at 298 Kelvin, that is at 0 degrees Celsius, at 25 degrees Celsius, at normal temperature, what they most of the interhalogen compounds are unstable. A few other compounds are gases as well. Okay, as example, chlorine monofluoride is a gas. On the other hand, bromine difluoride and iodine difluoride are solid and liquid is respectively. So chlorine monofluoride, that is chlorine ClF, is a solid, is a gas. Okay, on the other hand, bromine difluoride, that is BrF3, is a solid, and iodine difluoride IF3 is a liquid. So they can all be exhibit some or exist in solid, liquid or gas form. Okay, so here the ClF can be exist in gaseous form, IF3 exists in liquid form, and BrF3 exists in solid form. So by this example you can easily know that, you can easily prove that interhalogen compounds do not having only one state. They can be having three states. They can be remain exist in solid state, or they can be exist in liquid state, and they can exist in gaseous state as well. Okay, interhalogen compounds are diamagnetic in nature. Okay, and interhalogen compounds are very reactive, because one exception is fluorine, because this is because AX bond is in the interhalogen compound is much more weaker than AA bond in halogens, except FF bonds. Okay, so remember one thing, that is interhalogen compounds are very much reactive, because two halogen compounds are being added to form an interhalogen compound, so it is very much reactive, okay, than the halogens. Remember, ICl is more reactive than I2, but FCl is less reactive than FF, because this FF bond is so weaker, this fluorine bond is so weaker, that is, it is weaker than interhalogen compound. F2 is so much reactive than interhalogen compound, because here the FF bond is so weaker, because here the fluorine has less size and it has almost 3 lone pairs. So this lone pairs will be repels each other. So that is why in the small size of fluorine cannot stabilize the repulsion of the two fluorine atoms, that is the 6 lone pairs. Okay, that is why it become very much unstable. So that is why F2 the bond between FF bond is very much weaker, so F2 is become very much reactive. It is so reactive, then it is highly reactive than interhalogen compound. Other than fluorine, other than F2, the interhalogen compounds are much more reactive than the halogens compound. So how can we prepare the interhalogen compounds? We can prepare the interhalogen compounds by direct mixing of halogens. Okay, suppose in the case of here we can easily, or in all the reactions we can easily make a interhalogen compound by reacting one halogen with another by in a suitable temperature. Here fluorine and chlorine is reacted and forming ClF, which is the interhalogen compound at about 437 Kelvin temperature. Okay, similarly here bromine and fluorine is being reacted and it is being produced Br5 reaction, that is bromine pentafluoride as a product. Okay, and similarly here chlorine is being reacted with 3 fluorine and it is being reacted at a temperature about 573 Kelvin, and it will form a chlorine trifluoride. So we can form an interhalogen compound. We can form an interhalogen compound by mixing two halogens compound directly with a suitable temperature. Okay, so here you can see that at 0 degree Celsius fluorine and iodine and chlorine is being reacted and it will form iodine chloride. Okay, iodine monochloride. Okay, at 0 degree Celsius. Similarly, when Br5, that is bromine trifluoride, is being formed at 20 degree Celsius when by reacting bromine and fluorine directly. So we can prepare interhalogen compound directly but at a suitable temperature. Here in case of pentafluoride, here bromine and fluorine is being reacted directly, combined directly to form pentafluoride at about 150 degrees Celsius. So we can see all of these reactions that we can prepare interhalogen compounds by combining directly two halogens compound, to this two different halogens compound, but at a suitable temperature. The suitable temperature is more important, much more important. Okay, shapes of interhalogen compound. The interhalogen compounds are maybe linear, it can be T-shaped, it can be pentagonal, bipyramidal, it can be square planar as well. Okay, so by the concept of VAC pair, we can easily find out the structure of the interhalogen compounds. Okay, so it can be anything, like in ClF it is linear, in ClF3 it is T-shaped, in Br5 it is square pyramidal, and in IF7 it is pentagonal bipyramidal. Okay, and this last topic is uses of interhalogen compounds. Interhalogen compounds can be used as a non-watery solvents. Also it can be also used as a catalyst in many number of reactions, and in case of we use UF6 in the enrichment of uranium-235 reactor, we can produce this by ClF3 and Brf3. We can produce the UF6 by it can be produced by ClF3 or using ClF3 or Brf3. And similarly we use this compound as a fluorinating compounds as well. As a fluorinating agent we can use the interhalogen compounds as well. Okay, so we have discussed the ins and outs of interhalogen compound. What are the interhalogen compounds, how many types of they, and we have saw the example of 4 types of interhalogen compounds and their characteristics as well, and how can we form a interhalogen compound, and the reactivity, we have already discussed the reactivity of the interhalogen compounds to the halogens. Okay, and similarly we have discussed the structure of the interhalogen compounds and the uses. Okay, so that's it for now. If you have any doubt you can ask me anytime. Okay, thank you very much.